The American dream of a comfortable retirement, that time of well-deserved rest you've been working for your whole life, is dying. And for millions of people, it's turning into a nightmare. We were all told a simple story. Work hard, play by the rules, and you'll be rewarded with security in your golden years. But the rules have changed. The game feels rigged. That retirement our parents and grandparents knew is starting to look like a fairy tale from a different time. What's taking its place is a future filled with anxiety, struggle, and the very real fear of outliving your money. This isn't about scaring you. It's about looking at the statistical reality for most people watching. The path most of us are on doesn't lead to a beach house. It leads to a part-time job in your 70s and a constant, nagging fear of the next medical bill. Recent surveys reveal a terrifying truth. Working Americans believe you now need at least 1.26 million in savings to retire comfortably. Now, let that number sink in. Yet, the median retirement savings for families headed by someone aged 65 to 74 is just $200,000. That isn't a gap. It's a catastrophic chasm. It's the difference between a life of dignity and a life of desperation. Most people are on a collision course with a broke retirement, and they don't even see it coming. But what if I told you the key to rewriting this entire story isn't some complicated secret for the rich? What if it's just simple, undeniable math that proves starting to invest just 5 years earlier can change absolutely everything? In this video, we're going to break down the brutal reality of this retirement crisis, expose the forces designed to keep you struggling, and then reveal the powerful arithmetic that will help you escape the trap and build a future you actually control. It's time to get real and look at the numbers, not as abstract figures, but as the reality that could define the rest of your life. The problem, stated plainly, is this. The average American is heading straight for a retirement filled with financial worry. The central, horrifying statistic is the gap we just talked about. People who are working towards retirement right now say you need over 1.26 million to feel secure. And think about what secure really means. It's not about flying around the world or buying luxury cars. It's about not having a panic attack when the price of eggs goes up. It means you can afford your medications. It's having the ability to handle a single unexpected emergency, a new transmission for your car, a leaky roof, without your entire financial world falling apart. It's the simple dignity of not being a burden on your kids. Now, hold that number, 1.26 million, in your mind. The median savings for a family approaching retirement is just $200,000. It's not even in the same universe. Imagine you trained for a marathon, but you only have the energy to run 5 miles. You aren't just going to miss your goal, you are going to collapse, completely unprepared for the race. This isn't a failure of willpower, it's a systemic problem. The whole economic landscape has shifted. Take the median household income in the United States, which is around $81,000. That sounds okay until you stack it against the reality of modern costs. From the very start, the median household is already fighting an uphill battle before they've even had a chance to think about saving for a future that's 40 years away. When you apply the most basic rule of thumb for retirement, the 4% rule, the picture gets even darker. The 4% rule suggests you can safely withdraw 4% of your savings each year without running out of money. If you retire with that median nest egg of $200,000, 4% of that is just $8,000 a year. That's less than $700 a month. Let me ask you a serious question. Could you live on that? Could you pay for housing, food, utilities, and healthcare, which always gets more expensive as you age, on less than $700 a month? Of course not. It's an impossible, insulting amount of money that puts you well below the poverty line. This is the mathematical destination for the average American. Not a life of ease, but a life of government assistance and constant, unrelenting stress. We are witnessing the first generation in modern history that is on track to be significantly poorer in retirement than their parents. The social contract feels broken. The promise of a dignified old age has been replaced by a statistical probability of poverty. And the most dangerous part? Most people are so busy trying to survive today that they haven't had a moment to see the catastrophe waiting for them. So, how did we get here? How did the dream of a secure retirement become a statistical long shot for most of us? This wasn't an accident. It's the result of a perfect storm of economic forces that have been quietly dismantling the financial security of the American family. To fix the problem, you first have to face the enemies that are working against your bank account every single day. Let's start with the most vicious one: crushing, relentless debt. As of early 2024, total household debt in the United States had soared past $17.5 trillion. That isn't some abstract government number. That's the weight on the shoulders of ordinary families smothering their dreams. Let's make it personal and imagine a totally typical American couple. We'll call them Mark and Susan. Mark and Susan are in their mid-30s with two young kids. Together, they earn the median household income of about $81,000 a year. After taxes, that's closer to $66,000, or about $5,500 a month. They feel like they're doing everything right. They went to college, got jobs, bought a modest home. But every single month, they feel like they're drowning. Why? Because the forces of debt are pulling them under. First, there's the mortgage. The average mortgage balance is around $252,000. For Mark and Susan, their monthly payment for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance is easily $2,200. Boom. Right off the top, 40% of their take-home pay is gone. Next, the car loans. Mark and Susan each need a car to get to work. Not luxury cars, just reliable used SUVs for the family. The average auto loan payment has skyrocketed. Let's be conservative and say for their two cars, they're paying $100 a month. They didn't have cash to buy them, of course. Who does? So they financed, and now a huge chunk of their income vanishes every month to pay for assets that are losing value. Add it up, $2,200 for the house, $100 for the cars. We're at $3,300. Out of their $5,500 monthly pay, they now have just $2,200 left to cover everything else for a family of four. And what about everything else? Food, utilities, childcare, and of course student loans. Mark and Susan both took out loans for college. Let's say they have a combined monthly payment of $400. Now their monthly cash is down to $800. But life happens. A kid gets sick, the dishwasher breaks, the car needs new tires. Where does that money come from? For Mark and Susan, and for tens of millions of Americans, it comes from the credit card. This is the most destructive debt of all. With interest rates averaging over 20%, that $500 car repair quickly becomes $600, then $700. Total credit card debt in the U.S. has surpassed $1.2 trillion, a sign of just how many families are living on this razor's edge. After all of this, the mortgage, the cars, the student loans, Mark and Susan might have a few $100s left at the end of the month, if they're lucky. This brings us to the second force: stagnant wages and skyrocketing costs. Their $81,000 salary feels like it should be enough, but it's an illusion. Their wages might go up 3% in a good year, but if their health insurance premiums go up 8%, they are actually getting poorer. This pressure cooker leads to the third force: the savings gap. How are Mark and Susan supposed to save for retirement when they can barely handle today? A shocking number of Americans can't cover an unexpected $1,000 emergency without going into debt. They have no safety net. This is the agitation. It's the quiet desperation of sitting at the kitchen table, shuffling bills, trying to make the numbers work, and feeling that rising panic. They are doing everything they were told to do, and it's not working. The system is designed to extract wealth from them at every turn. Mark and Susan aren't failing. They are being failed. When you're under this much financial pressure, it's human to cling to hope, to believe there's a safety net that will catch you. Most people have a vague, unexamined plan that they think will save them. But today, we're pulling those security blankets away to expose them for the false hopes they are. If your plan relies on any of these, you don't have a plan. You have a ticket to a world of financial pain. The first and most common false hope is, I'll just rely on Social Security. It's an understandable thought. But Social Security was never designed to be your only source of income. Relying on it alone is a recipe for poverty. Let's be blunt. Projections show the average Social Security benefit in 2026 will be about $2,071 a month. Can you live on that? For a couple, it might be closer to $3,500 a month. Sounds better, but after you pay for Medicare premiums and the taxes many people are surprised they owe on their benefits, that amount shrinks fast. More importantly, that income is basically fixed. The small adjustments rarely keep up with the real inflation seniors face, especially in healthcare. So your buying power goes down every single year. At 67, that check might feel tight. By 77, it will feel suffocating. Placing your entire future in the hands of a government program is not a plan. It's a gamble. The second false hope: my house is my retirement plan. For generations, homeownership was how families built wealth. The idea was you'd pay off your mortgage and have a valuable asset. You could live rent-free or sell it and downsize. This strategy is no longer a sure thing. It's a minefield. First, it assumes your home's value will always go up a lot, but real estate markets go in cycles, and there's no guarantee the market will be strong in the exact year you need to sell. Second, living rent-free is a total myth. Even with a paid-off mortgage, you're still paying property taxes, insurance, and maintenance. A new roof can cost $15,000. An HVAC system can be $10,000. Where does that money come from on a fixed income? Relying on your home is like putting all your eggs in one very high-maintenance basket. The third false hope is the one people whisper when they start to panic. I'll just work longer. On the surface, this sounds logical. If you don't have enough saved, just keep earning until you're 70 or 75. This is maybe the most dangerous fantasy of all because it ignores the reality of getting older. First, there's your health. Your body might not give you a choice. Nearly 40% of retirees say they were forced to stop working earlier than they planned, mostly due to health problems. You might plan to work until 75, but your body might retire you at 63, ready or not. Second, there's ageism. It's illegal, but it's everywhere. Finding a new job in your late 60s can be brutally difficult. You may be forced into lower-paying jobs just to make ends meet. Finally, do you really want to spend your golden years dealing with a boss and a commute? Working longer isn't a plan, it's a deferral of your life. These are not solutions. They are coping mechanisms. True financial power begins when you stop believing in fairy tales and start believing in arithmetic. If you're finding this helpful and maybe a little terrifying, stick with me, because the solution is coming. It is simpler and more powerful than you can imagine. And if you haven't already, please take a moment to subscribe and hit that notification bell. We release videos like this every week to give you the clarity you need to break free from financial stress. We've spent the last few minutes staring into the darkness of the retirement crisis. Now, it's time to light a candle. It's time to pivot from the problem to the solution. And the solution, the single most powerful force that can rescue your financial future, is the magic of compound interest. Compounding is the process where your investments start generating their own earnings. It's a snowball effect. Your money makes money, and then the money your money made starts making more money. It's slow at first, almost invisible. But over time, its power becomes explosive. And the most critical ingredient isn't how much money you invest or being a stock-picking genius. It is time. Time is the fuel that turns your tiny snowball of savings into an avalanche of wealth. I'm going to prove it to you with the story of two people. This is the single most important financial parable you will ever hear. Let's meet Sarah and Ben. They're both average people with average jobs. They both decide to invest for retirement by putting money into a simple, low-cost S&P 500 index fund. To be conservative, we'll assume a 7% average annual return after inflation. They both plan to retire at age 65. Sarah is proactive. She gets a little scared after watching a video like this and decides to start investing at age 30. She sets up an automatic investment of $500 every single month. Ben is also a smart guy, but he puts it off. He thinks, I'll get to it. He wants a new car, he has other expenses. He finally starts investing at age 35, exactly 5 years after Sarah. He also invests $500 every single month into the exact same fund. So, same investment, same monthly contribution, same retirement age. The only difference is that Sarah started 5 years earlier. What does that 5-year head start actually mean? Let's do the math. Sarah invests $500 a month from age 30 to age 65. That's 35 years. Her total out-of-pocket contribution is $210,000. Ben invests $500 a month from age 35 to age 65. That's 30 years. His total contribution is $180,000. Ben only invested $30,000 less than Sarah. You'd think their final amounts would be pretty close, right? Maybe Sarah has $40,000 or $50,000 more. This is where compounding turns our expectations upside down. When Sarah reaches age 65, thanks to the relentless power of her money-making money for 35 years, her retirement account isn't worth $210,000. It is worth approximately $884,500. Her retirement is secure. Now, what about Ben? When he reaches age 65 after 30 years of diligent investing, his account is worth approximately $608,600. This is a fantastic amount of money, to be clear, and far more than the average. But look at the difference. Sarah ended up with over $884,000. Ben ended up with just over $608,000. By starting just 5 years earlier, Sarah has $275,900 more for retirement than Ben. Let that number sink in, over $250,000. Her head start was only 60 months. She only invested $30,000 more of her own money. But that extra $30,000, put to work for 5 extra years, generated an additional $245,900 of pure, passive growth. That is the jaw-dropping, life-altering power of compound growth. This isn't a trick. It is simple, boring, beautiful mathematics. Time, not timing the market, is your greatest asset. The biggest financial mistake you can make is not picking the wrong stock. It's waiting. Every day you wait to start, you are robbing your future self of thousands of dollars. What if you can't afford $500 a month? Let's say you can find an extra $100 in your budget. That's a few less dinners out, or brewing your own coffee. Starting at age 30, if you invest just $100 a month for 35 years at that same 7% return, that small habit will grow to over $176,000. For the price of a daily latte, you can build a nest egg that is already bigger than what many people retire with today. You don't need to be a Wall Street genius. You just need to start. Now, understanding compounding is one thing. Harnessing it is another. Right now, you might be feeling a mix of fear and excitement. Fear, because you realize how much time you may have lost. Excitement, because you now see a clear path forward. The key is to channel that energy into immediate action, not tomorrow. Today, this is your battle plan. Step 1. Confront the numbers, no matter how scary. You can't fix a problem you don't understand. Your first step is to track every single dollar you earn and spend for one full month. Use a notebook, a spreadsheet, an app, I don't care. Just write it all down. The morning coffee, the subscription you forgot about, everything. At the end of the month, you will have a clear picture of where your money is actually going. This isn't about shame, it's about awareness. This is where your power begins. Step 2. Build your financial foundation, the emergency fund. Before you can build wealth, you need a foundation. In finance, that's your emergency fund. Why? Because life will happen. The car will break down. The AC will die. Without an emergency fund, these small crises will force you to go into high-interest debt or sell your investments at the worst possible time. An emergency fund is a firewall that protects your future. Your goal is 3 to 6 months of essential living expenses. Rent, food, utilities. Start small. Your first mission is to save $1,000. Scrape it together. Sell things you don't need. Pick up a side hustle. Put that $1,000 into a separate high-yield savings account where you won't touch it. Then, automate transfers from every paycheck until you hit your goal. Step 3. Attack high-interest debt with a vengeance. High-interest debt is compound interest working against you. It's a cancer. Any debt with an interest rate above 7 to 8%, think credit cards, is an emergency. You must eliminate it. The two best methods are the avalanche and the snowball. The avalanche is paying off the highest interest rate debt first. It's the fastest, mathematically. The snowball is paying off the smallest balance first. The quick win gives you a huge motivational boost. Which is better? The one you'll actually stick with. Pick one and declare war on your debt. Step 4. Automate your investing. The pay yourself first mandate. Once your emergency fund is started and your high-interest debt is being attacked, it's time to unleash compounding. The secret is to make investing automatic. This is the pay yourself first principle. It means before you pay rent or any other bill, a portion of your income goes straight to your investments. It's non-negotiable. You are treating your future self as your most important bill. So, where do you invest? For most people, the answer is simple. Low-cost index funds. An S&P 500 index fund lets you buy a tiny piece of the 500 largest companies in America. You're betting on the long-term growth of the economy. Here's the simple order of operations. If your job offers a 401k with a match, invest enough to get the full match. This is free money. It's a 100% return on your investment instantly. Do not leave this on the table. Next, open a Roth IRA. With a Roth IRA, your money grows completely tax-free, and all your withdrawals in retirement are tax-free. It's incredibly powerful. If you max out those accounts, go back and put more into your 401k. Set up automatic transfers from your paycheck and bank account. Start with $50 a month if you have to. The goal is to eventually save at least 15% of your income. By automating it, you remove emotion from the equation. The money is invested before you even miss it. This is the plan. It's not sexy, but it is brutally effective. We began by looking at a dark future, a future where the average American retires broke and anxious. We saw the crushing weight of debt and the mathematical certainty of failure for those who just drift along. But we're not ending in darkness. We're ending with a simple, powerful truth. You can rewrite your story. The solution isn't some get-rich-quick scheme. It's harnessing the most powerful force in the financial universe, time and consistency. The story of Sarah and Ben proves that starting early is infinitely more powerful than starting big. That 5-year head start was worth over $250,000. The choice is yours. You can be Ben, who waits for tomorrow and leaves a fortune on the table. Or you can be Sarah, who decides her future is too important to delay, who decides that today is the day she takes control. The retirement crisis is real, but it does not have to be your reality. You are not a statistic. The plan is right here in front of you. Confront your numbers. Build your foundation. Destroy your debt. Automate your future. Your journey starts right now. As your first step, I want you to go down to the comments below and tell me, what is the one single thing you are going to do this week to change your financial future? Are you going to track your spending? Start your emergency fund? Set up that automatic transfer? Declare it. Commit to it. Your future self is counting on you. Thank you for watching. Subscribe if you want to see more.